Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm That Fat Guy, and today's another episode of Fat Chat. Fat Chat is where I talk to real people and learn about their weight loss journeys and get some perspective as to what has given them success. Because I've only got my own story to tell, and there are so many others out there that can offer a different perspective that may inspire some to turn their life around and start a healthier, more maintainable lifestyle. I'll start by saying please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions for me or today's guest, put it in the comments down below. I'm really excited to be chatting to a bloke who's gone from sitting on the couch to running triathlons. He's a dead set legend. I got Mr. Dale with me. How you doing, Dale?
Hey mate, how you going?
Oh.
Good to be finally with you.
Mate, I love chatting to you because we actually went to the first Man Shakers walk together.
We did,
and
yep.
Yeah, it was a really good day. And it's a shame that we haven't been able to get out on one since. You know, just all this lockdown.
It's good to put faces and have conversations with people that you're normally typing to on through a group or something like that. It was good. We should do that more often.
Yeah. Like for all those who don't know, Dale here, he's a man shaker himself. He's been a very active part of my channel, and the Man Shake community. And dude, I want to say thank you very much for all your support over this last.
It's a pleasure, man. It's good. It's a good little community we got together, and we should all be out supporting each other.
You're a legend, mate. So, look, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you?
I'm Dale, obviously, 42 years old, 42 years young, single dad, southwestern Sydney. I've been on the Man Shake for about a year and a half. I think it was June last year I started, June 2020. Got to a point where I thought, it's time to pull my finger out and have a go, and off I went. I think I'm down to about 25 lost so far. Generally pretty active. There was a period that I wasn't. I'm sure we'll get to that. Yeah. But run a business. Pretty simple.
Well, mate, I got to say, and we'll cut straight to the picture. So anyone who's listening to this, just check out the YouTube version of it. But we got your before and afters here, mate. And mate, you're looking great.
All right.
Yeah. It's great to have these pictures that you can refer back to, like your before pictures, and take a look at you mid stride right there, rocking the Man Shake hat. Look at you, mate. You look amazing.
That was my personal sponsor, unofficial personal sponsor.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Dale on the left there? So, how long ago was that?
So that was in the January of the year that I started, so January 2020. Every year we go away down the coast. It's a place that I went when I was a kid, so being a single dad, it's important for me to make memories with my kids, so I'm going back to the place where I got my memories from with my family, and we make that an annual trip every year, and that was pretty standard for what those trips looked like. It was fun during the days, and then in the afternoons it was sitting around the barbecue having a drink, and that's pretty much what it was.
Jack and lemonade, is that your drink, is it?
It was, yeah. That was one of them. There was a lot, but that was one of them. And was this around the same time when you're golfing and that? So the golfing is probably around that same time as well. I live across the road from a golf course, so it's pretty easy for me to get out and play some golf.
So lucky.
But generally when I was playing golf, it came with going to the bar, an esky on the back of the cart, taking that with me. So that's probably contributed to the size of that golfer on that picture.
Yeah, because I'm not going to pretend that I play golf very often, but whenever I did, there's always a beer hole. Like you always had your par threes, closest to the, I think it was closest to the pin. You had to neck one, or I'm not sure. We wouldn't drink. We would only take a 6-pack, and it wouldn't really last long, to be completely honest. But
no.
Yeah. So would you say that alcohol was your big thing? Is that what caused a lot of your weight gain?
Alcohol was 100%. I do have a pretty poor relationship with food, and I snack when I'm bored. But probably the biggest problem was the alcohol. after my marriage failed about 5 years ago. I used to be pretty fit prior to that, but after my marriage failed, and I kind of got into I won't say depression, but I kind of got into a routine where I thought it was okay to drink a lot. And I think it helped as well. It was more of a self-medicating kind of thing. And yeah, I didn't see a problem with it until it was probably too late. I still do like a drink now, but I just choose to look at it differently. I think it was the combination of what was happening, and that I thought that was helping. So yeah, it was just making things worse.
We all have our vices, and I'm sorry to hear about the marriage breakdown, but like to go, I mean, we all have things that we turn to, and be it alcohol, food, drugs, gambling, that kind of stuff. It can
100%.
It really affects your health, and as you can see from these pictures you got here, like you've had a pretty dramatic transformation, like. And that to me looks like
that's hard to look at.
Yeah, that to me looks like an alcohol gut, like
100%.
Because
100%.
Your legs and your arms, like, I mean, you haven't, like, you've trimmed down, definitely. You can see that there's tone, but it's all held in the gut there. So, but mate, you must be feeling $1 million.
I do, yeah, I do. A lot better. I know a couple of people have spoken about those body dysmorphia, kind of how you see yourself moments. And for a long time, when I looked at that, I could still see that thin guy. So it kind of works both ways. And then even now I see somewhat thinner guy, and I can still see that fat guy. So yeah, I do feel a hell of a lot better though. I'm not making excuses to sit around and do nothing. I'm out doing it. So it makes me feel a lot better.
Well, because like you're currently doing triathlons, like for when you can, when we're not locked down.
Yeah.
What's kind of led you to that? Have you always been into that kind of fitness, or is that something new?
So I've been a cyclist for a long time. Obviously, there was a period where I was not cycling, which didn't help. But I love cycling is something that I love. And I've got a few friends that have done the triathlons. And I thought I'm going to set myself a goal to actually do one of them one day. The swimming and the running is probably what I have to tackle because I know how to cycle. I even at the start of this year went and did some swimming lessons. It's hard for a 41-year-old to admit that they need to go and have swimming lessons.
Wow.
But I went and did that. And yeah, so it's kind of a goal thing now. I started off with a basic short distance, and eventually want to do my end goal when it comes, not end goal, but my biggest goal is a half Ironman. We'll see how we go. Slow and steady.
So did you know how to swim beforehand, or was it just like you need to refresh?
I call it, I can swim to not die. So I can get from one end of the pool to the other. I can swim. Like I've done some scuba diving before in the past, but like I can swim, but competitively, with a proper stroke and breathing and all that kind of stuff, I wasn't up to skill of where I think I needed to be. So yeah, it just helped. It was more of a stroke correction, I think they call it, and a breathing correction. So yeah, it helped.
Oh, I mean, it obviously shows because you've done a couple of them now. By look at it, man, I can't get over how good you look. Like, and having met you in real life, like, and get an idea on who's this person I've been chatting to for like a year. I'm really impressed with your journey. So, like, for what was the moment that you decided that you needed to make that change?
I think it probably wasn't long after that Jack and Lemonade shot, and I kind of looked and I was starting to get some of the tiger stripes on the belly, and I kind of realised that when I stopped to have a look properly in the mirror, then I wasn't enjoying it, and there was still these things in my head, like the goals that I wanted to achieve. I also felt myself, unfortunately, being a bit lazier around the kids. Like, we'll go and do that later, or not wanting to do as much stuff outdoors. And I thought, you know what, I can't keep doing that. Like, I'm a single dad. I need to make the most of it while I can. So it's time to kick it and make the most of it.
So, like, by the sound of it, your kids are a pretty big inspiration for you. Like, I've got a couple of pictures of you, the kids here, and mate, having met them, they're just beautiful kids, mate, and you should be very proud.
Thanks.
You know, it's
I am.
Yeah, like they're buzzing around because Dale, he owns his own business as a bike shop, and we'll give it a quick shout here, but MacArthur e-bikes. Check them out if you're after some cycling wear and other stuff. Like, they'll on these electric scooters. It was fantastic. It was just a great day to meet them. And how important, have they been much of a motivation for you, or much of a support for you?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I've got, it's funny, I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but I've got a little board that I put up in the bathroom, and I put my goals on it. And it was just something that I could look at every morning when I went and when I went to the bathroom or went and done my teeth and stuff like that. And I went in there one morning and my youngest, Lindsay, she had drawn some extra stuff on it. There it is there.
Yeah, just bring it up for you.
So she'll see, you'll see she's written on it, "You can lose the weight," or "Go daddy," or "I love you," this and all.
Oh, there you go, right up the top there. You can lose the weight.
Yeah. And she's written all this little, and I didn't know she'd done it, and I probably noticed it, maybe a couple of days after she'd done it, and that's still. Apart from the goals, I left all her writing and stuff on it. So she's
look at that,
and she loves it. She loves the fact that I go for a run, and she's on a scooter, so we're out together. Every night we all go for a walk together. You know, it's I think it's important to that they can see that I'm putting in the effort as well, and that's what drives me, them especially.
Hey, you nearly got me in tears. That's so like that board is just so adorable. I absolutely love it. It says for all those who might be listening to this one, it says it has Dale's short, medium, and long-term goals, which I want to get into in a second. But in these little messages from his daughter saying, "You can lose your weight. Love you, daddy. You can do this." Mwah. It's little I heart you. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. But what I love as well is that you got your short and medium long-term goals there. And this is something that I've really pushed on my channel since I kind of first started, and I really need to readdress my goals. But you got your short-term goals, be sub 90 kilos, so you're 94.4 at the moment. What did you start at?
That's an old photo, but I'm down to I've been to 89.9. Yeah. And I think that I'm currently at the moment about 92.8. Yeah. I think I was this morning, 92 something.
Yeah. So you're under that. What did you start at?
Unofficially, I was around the 120.
120.
And then once I was too afraid to get back on the scales until I thought that I'd done something. So I spent a couple of weeks just doing what I thought I needed to do before I felt right. And then when my official starting was 115.9.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a solid amount of loss, mate. Yeah, at one stage you're at 25 kilo.
Yeah, I think I was about 120 or 100 and something like that. So, but officially it was like 115.9. So yeah, it's good. The last couple of months has stalled a bit, but it's to be expected.
Yeah, lockdown blues, mate. I tell you what, it's.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna say that's. I'm not gonna use it as an excuse, but it is hard when you can't go to the gym every morning, like my routine that I was used to. what I have done is put myself into situations during lockdown where I have to work out. Like this month, I'm doing a fundraiser where I have to ride 500 kilometers this month.
Wow.
And just because I know if I don't do it, then it'll give me an excuse to not do anything. So if I enter these, it's a way that I've been pushing myself is just to enter these little competitions or things that I have to do to help me push myself. That helps.
Oh, yeah, if it works, man. It's good to keep
Yeah.
the commitment. Are you doing the man challenge? It's starting tomorrow.
I haven't done the man challenge. The last one I did was, I think, at the start of the February one. That's the last one I've done. I think because it was the first one I did was last year, and I just did the beginners one, and then the last one I did at the start of this year, I kind of stepped it up a bit and did the full-on one. Geez, they're good, man. Like, for something that you can just do, it takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can do it in your lounge room next to a chair. Like, amazing. And your heart rate just gets hammered.
If you haven't got a token, you want one, mate, I'll sort you out because it's due to start tomorrow. Because we're filming this on the 19th. This won't come out for a few weeks now. So the man challenge will probably be over by the time.
Probably.
So, but look. So, okay. Other than that, you got your sub 40-minute 5K. Your road rides weekly for your short term. Medium term, you've got learn to swim distance, 30-minute. So I'm not sure whether these look like they might still be current goals for you then. And triathlon, sprint distance, and 80 kilos, is it down the bottom there? Yeah, 80 kilos.
80 kilos. Yeah.
Dude, that's fantastic.
Okay, so I've done the sprint distance, which I didn't think. I thought that was going to be a further off goal.
Wow.
What I did was, like I said, I enter stuff that I have to push for. So I entered the New South Wales Triathlon Club Championships up in Foster this year, thinking that that's probably, I'm not going to be able to, like, I'll probably struggle, but I did it, and it was something that I wanted to achieve. So the next one will be a bigger one. See how we go. But yeah, most of those goals, I'm already sub 40 minutes at 5Ks. My weekly rides are helping. My learn to swim distance is probably the next one that I want to tackle.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do sub 30-minute 5K run. So.
Wow. That's really good.
Yeah.
I tried jogging for a bit, and like I still say this. 10 seconds into it, I'm always like, why do people do this for fun? Like I don't understand.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive fan of it, but I know that, especially after I've swam and ridden, it's not great. But I just kind of I've learnt to not race everybody else. I just need to do it comfortably so I make it to the end. I always tell myself, I keep an eye on my heart rate, obviously, and I keep an eye on my pace, and tell myself that I don't have to race everybody else. I just need to get to the end without stopping and walking.
Dude, it must take some balls, like to do your first triathlon, like from going from the couch to what you were. Like, I mean, like, you know, well, okay. So let's just talk about Fat Dale here for a little bit. Like, what would a Saturday look like to you? Or like just
not much at all. Nah. A normal Saturday. If I didn't have if the kids weren't here on the weekend, then it'd be, I'd get up, coffee, do some housework, and then chill out of the lounge. It'd either be, I'm a massive sports fan. I love most kinds of sports, motorsports especially, and footy. But it'd be finding whatever sport that I can and just sitting on the lounge. Like I said, my relationship with food wasn't great, so it'd be snacking.
What would your breakfast look like?
I wasn't a massive fan of breakfast, but when I did have it, it was like just big bowls of cereal, pretty much. I love cereal. I could even eat cereal for dinner back in the day. I'm a big fan of dairy. So milk is a killer for me.
Oh, tell me about it.
But yeah, it was just every time there was an add-on, you'd get up and go to the fridge, or you'd get up and grab a packet of chips, or it was just it was an unhealthy relationship. And a lot of the times I used to try to work, was my old job before the shop. I'd try to work as much as I could on the weekends when I didn't have the kids, because it would stop me from just being bored or unhealthy. You know what I mean? Being a bit of an isolator. It was never like going out and partying or hanging out with friends a lot. So yeah, it was just a sitting around watching sports and doing nothing.
So when would the first drink come?
I think it was depending on, like, I was never one of those guys that wakes up in the morning and cranks a beer or finishes off his beer from the night before. It was still an afternoon thing, but it was constant. Like, I wouldn't go through cartons, but I would just have a beer when I probably should have been sitting around drinking water. You know what I mean? And I thought at some point, I'm like, oh, it's all right, I'm watching sport, I'm allowed to, or the footy's on, I'll make that as an excuse that I can go and have a beer or something like that, or I'll go up the club and go, oh yeah, we're hanging out. The golf club's literally about 150 metres up the road, so it was easy.
Makes it easy when you're legless. I mean, when you got to crawl home, 150 meters isn't that far.
Yeah, so it was, and it's downhill on the way home too. So it's good.
Cheering, roll home. But it's funny how the drinking and sports really goes hand in hand. Like
100%.
Like you and I were both massive NRL fans, right? You support the Sharks, I support the unfortunate Eels, and Parramatta Eels, I meant to say, and. Like last night, for example, I saw my beloved Eels just get beat by Penrith Panthers in the semi-finals. And before I knew it, I sunk 6 beers during the game.
Yeah, right? It's easy to do.
It is so easy to do. My heart rate was racing though. Like by the time even though I finished 6 beers, I didn't even have a buzz going because my heart was just pumping at 110 beats a minute the entire time. I felt like I worked the alcohol right through me. I got up. I'm like, I don't feel buzzed at all. But anyway, and every time you go to and I don't know whether you notice this, but every time you go to the NRL app or you look at one of those videos on the NRL website, the first ad that comes up, Great Northern, and there's always like alcohol ads and sports bet ads and ads that are really playing to people's relationship with sport and drinking and betting on sport. Like, how much do you think that has an impact on today's health in men, well, particularly men who are big sports fans like yourself?
I don't know. I mean, it's you can't say it doesn't have an effect. I think it's like what they call it, subconsciously you see it there, and I can't say I've ever seen an ad and then gone and got a beer just because I've seen that ad. Or food, probably a bit different. You see ads and think, oh geez, I wouldn't mind one of them. Next minute you're on Uber Eats or something like that. But
Zombie.
It's probably a bit easier than getting alcohol delivered to your house. But I don't know. It's like I said. I think those things go hand in hand. When you go to the footy with your mates, you have a beer. You're watching the footy with your mates, you have a beer. It's just one of those things.
It's a lot of Australian culture. And
100%.
Like even BWS last night were advertising, that King Arthur, he leaves the party to go get some drink, and then it's like we deliver within an hour, or you deliver, or your next delivery is free or whatever, and it's like that's alcohol like being delivered to your house.
It's crazy.
And even the video ref screen is KFC. Like, I got no problem with that, but
it's all right for you. I was going to say, no problem for you.
It's right for me. Yeah, anytime's KFC time. But like, it is such like an ingrained culture, because you're saying that you don't watch an ad and immediately get up, walk to the fridge and get a beer. But why is your fridge full of beer? Because you may be thinking, you may have thought earlier today, footy's on, better grab some beer. You had that relationship with it, and I know that I have that relationship with foods and events and that kind of stuff. And it just, Yeah, it is a real problem, and I think a lot of people's health does really suffer because of that. Because you don't see during the footy commercials for health and weight loss and all that kind of stuff. Like
No, that's right.
you don't see the man shake. Well, actually, on
You
Channel
do,
9,
sometimes.
you do, but on Fox, because I watch on Fox,
Oh, you'll never see it on Fox.
no, no, never. But
No.
yeah. So, but anyway, this is not to talk about sport and poor Eels. I can't believe they lost. I can't believe I'm here with you. Like as you said, I can't believe I'm here with you today talking about it because I was gutted last night. Absolutely.
Oh, I was waiting for you to message me this morning saying I'm in a fetal position. I can't deal with the world today. I'm not. I'm staying in bed.
I'm in the emergency room after trying to hang myself. Literally, I posted last night on my Facebook. I wrote. So this is before the game. Stressed, nervous, excited, and sick to the stomach. Hashtag NRL Panthers Eels, right? A bit of support there. And then 2 hours later, I'll be off socials for the next 24 hours. I'm absolutely gutted.
Just to give yourself a break.
Yeah. But I mean, and then I had to get logged back on this morning because I needed to message you. So hypocrisy,
Yeah.
my name is Fat Guy. Thy name is. Anyway, so, okay. So you decided to make a change. You wanted to get off the drink. You wanted to turn your life around and be a more active dad for the kids. What brought you to the man shake?
I think it was a combination of things. Like I remember once before, when I shed a bit of weight a lot of years ago, just because I was doing a charity ride. So I wanted to just shed some extra kilos, and I tried a meal replacement shake a while ago, and it worked. It wasn't the man shake; it was something else. And then this time around, one of the guys from my former work, they were in an office in another state, and they were telling me how much weight he'd lost on this man shake stuff. So I thought I'll do some homework as I do. Did that, saw some commercials, saw your channel. I think it was pretty early on in your channel, I think, when I found that. Found a couple of videos from Jared on
Beginner's Guide to Weight Loss.
YouTube as well.
Yeah,
those ones, those beginner guides and stuff like that. Found, I think, one of the original Man Shakers Facebook pages.
Oh, the Man Shake Man, yeah.
Man Shake Man. And pretty much just went from there. Like, to see, I think what got me more interested once I realised, after I did a lot of research or homework, that it kind of takes the thinking out of it. So it made it a lot easier for me. I didn't have to worry about, because I'm not a great cook. I can cook, but I'm not a great cook. So I didn't have to worry about meal prepping and all that kind of stuff. It just took it out. Took the thought process out of it. And I'm like, that's what I need. I need to not think about it too much. I just need to have a program and do it. And seeing you guys achieving your goals the way you were, made the decision a lot easier.
So, did you order just the shakes, or are you on the bars as well?
First up, I went straight to the big pack because I needed to. If I was going to try it, I might as well try all of it. But now I'm pretty much just on shakes 2 times a day, and fruit and snacks in between. I'm pretty basic when it comes to food, so my snacks are generally only like kiwi fruit and bananas.
Love the kiwi.
And those little cucumbers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And my snacks, like my other snacks, are like jerky, and because I do like the small meat products, and I think that helps me to stop branching out to bigger foods. So yeah, just snacks like that. Occasionally, when you get that stuff on special, like those protein bars, the BSC bars, stuff like that, I'll grab a box of them. And I do generally have a stock load of the choc peanut butter bars, Man Shake ones, in my cupboard, because they're good. Couple in your pocket, off you go.
Well, mate, that sounds really good. Love the kiwi fruit. Do you eat it with the skin on?
Oh, I was just going to say the one thing that I never thought that I would do after seeing you do it. I'm now eating my kiwi fruits with the skin
It
on.
just makes it so much easier, doesn't it? It's just like, yeah, and it's extra fiber, and it just tastes like, I love kiwi fruits. Like, I love the taste of kiwi fruit, but like until I saw someone say that you can actually eat them with the skin on, I'm like, because that was the one thing that held me back from kiwi fruits. I would never get them because I was just like, you have to work to eat it, you know, and like the man shakers taught me anything. It's like, yeah. Like, well, I don't know. Like, I mean, my laziness, I guess, is the main culprit of that. Is that that's why I love the man shake. It's to say I don't need to think about it, just like you. It's made just like that.
100%.
You know, I don't need to prep it. I've done meal prep before, and I went with the full cryovac. Like, I spent a full Sunday marinating chicken, cooking on the barbecue, cooking bits of meat and such like that. And this is for like 3 meals a day. No, 2 meals a day and then breakfast. And I even had the cryovac bag, and I was chucking them in the freezer. Like, it took a whole Sunday, like half a day, well, most of a day. And the cleanup after it was horrible. I was just like, why does anyone do this? Like, yeah, I understand, you got your healthy lifestyle, but like when you got kids and, like, do you have the kids every weekend, or do you have them?
So they're with me 50% of the time, but I've got them every second weekend. So.
Yeah, so I mean, you got precious little time, and you want to
100%.
spend that doing stuff that you want to enjoy. You want to relax. You want to spend time with the kids, take them out, do things. Train for triathlon. You don't want to spend your day marinating, honey mustard chicken and.
No, I can't do it. I mean, I'm not that great of a cook anyway. So, like I said, I can cook, but I'm not food prep cook. That's too much for me. I don't think I could ever do that.
What do your dinners look like?
So generally it's a protein. So I'm doing a lot of chicken, mainly chicken. Bought myself an air fryer, which is probably the best thing I've ever bought out of all of it. And I put everything in it. I've put steak, I've put chicken, lamb chops. I've put everything in it because, like I said, I'm straight in, press the buttons, forget about it, and then once that's done, either the crunchy noodle salad or the fresh microwave steam bags of veggies. Oh, yeah. They're my go-to. It's nice and easy. When the kids are there, sometimes they'll get like their little chips or something on the side, but if I can handle it, if I can stop myself, then I'll just stick with my salad and veggies, and that's easier.
Well, let's be honest here, Dale. How often do you pass on the old chips when the kids are around?
Oh, you've got to have a dad tax. I think it's important that you don't.
It's the law.
I always tell my daughter that I have to make sure that there's no poison in that food. So one or two little chips here isn't going to kill me, but. It's part of being a dad. I think you got to have the dad tax.
It's much to say like we get like maybe Guzman and Gomez like maybe once or twice. Oh, sorry, like once or twice a fortnight. And Alyssa, she gets a little like kids burrito with chips, and she loves the chips more than the burrito itself. But I say no, you got to eat the burrito first because you'll fill up on chips, right? But she always like leaves like the last like little bit, like maybe inch worth of burrito, so she has enough room for the chips. She goes, "Dad, you want this?" I'm like, yes, I will eat that. Thank you. So yeah, dad tax. I love the dad tax, but
I don't have to worry about that. My kids pretty much eat everything they get. So if I don't get it before they get it, then I don't get any.
How old are the kids now?
So my son's 14 soon, so he's 13 now, and my daughter's 10.
Wow. That's such a good age bracket to have. Like one still in primary school, one in just starting high school. Oh wow. I can't.
It is until they decide they want to punch on all the time. Then it's just nightmare.
Well, they were very well behaved when they were at the Man Shakers walk. So
to their credit, when we go anywhere, they are very, very well behaved. It's just when they're at home, they love to test each other. So I suppose it's part of being a kid.
It was awesome because like you brought like a couple of electric scooters, and here's your 10-year-old daughter teaching me how to ride it. She's like, okay, now put it on 3, right? Now you need to kick off a couple of times, and then you just give it some. I'm like, all right, here we go, and then I fly off. It was great, and then I think Jerd, he bought one that day, didn't he?
No, we just bought one because I knew that he was bringing his son, so we bought one out for him to fly around on. I think I use them as a tool pretty much, because if I say to the kids, "Come on, we're going for a 5K walk," they're like, "I'm not into that at all." I'm like, "Grab your scooter. I'm going for a walk, or you can be on that." They're like, "Sweet, let's go."
Yeah, it's outdoor time. Outdoor time. I do
100%.
Yeah, I do the same with Alyssa. I'm trying to get her to ride a bike. We got her a bike, but it's one size too big. So I took her old bike and she's having a hard time bouncing. So I ripped the pedals off of it, the crank and everything like that. So she's kind of using it as a balance bike to get an idea on her, how to thing. But I just got to get her into it. She loves her scooter, but she's just very sort of like, bikes, take it or leave it,
Yeah, okay.
Not interested, Dad.
I think with my daughter, because she's like, my house is, obviously you can see houses filled with bikes. I've got one here and two downstairs, and I've got a bit of a stockpile of bikes. But when it was time for my daughter to ride and for my son, it was about half an hour on training wheels, and then they were off.
Wow.
Because that's the way it's got to be.
I have to get you around one weekend. You can teach my daughter.
Yeah, it's once you've taught one kid, and you know what they're looking at, then it's easy.
All right. Well, we'll tee up a time. Organized. But yeah. So okay. And back to the air fryer. I've got to ask, because I ask everyone that talks about air fryers. Are they really worth the hype? Like.
I think they are. I think I like the fact that they're convenient. And you don't have to think about it. It's got presets of different foods. You put it in. The only downside to my one is it's only a little one. So it's probably good for 2 bits of meat instead of 3 bits of meat for when the kids are here. That's probably the only downside. I like the fact that I can just put it in, press a button, go and have a shower. Say if it's after work, I can set it, go and have a shower, be ready, come down, veggies in, and it's done. Like, I don't have to worry about preheating an oven. I don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. So, and then once it's done, I pull it out and serve it and put the rest of the air fryer in the dishwasher with all the other stuff.
So what's the difference between that and an oven? Like, is it just purely the presets that kind of do it for you, or is it like?
I think it's the presets, and then I don't have to worry about preheating and stuff like that. I think it's just the fact that it's simple and I don't have to think about it. I do get a lot of my meat and produce from a wholesale butcher.
Oh yeah.
I like going into those big freezers and looking around and what there is in there, and trying different cuts and marinades and all that kind of stuff. So generally, when you buy it from a butcher's or a wholesaler, then they don't come with all those instructions that you get on your packet ones at Woolies. So because I'm not don't want to check it all the time and stuff like that, I can just go, okay, this is chicken, press the button and go, or this is a steak, done. Like, it just takes away the thought process.
I was talking to like people on the Man Shakers page and my mates and that. There's a few things I need to get. I need to get an air fryer, and a smoker. Like, smokers apparently are just epic.
Yeah, they're good fun.
Yeah, but to me that seems more of like a hobby. Like, also a Weber. People are trying to get me on Webers as well. Like, but like it seems to be like the people that are trying to say, hey, get a Weber, get this, that, and the other. It's like they do it as a hobby. Like they just experiment with different kinds of.
And it can be like there's some people. I think Lloyd's one of them. He'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to prepare his one, and yes, he's a chef, but. It is like a hobby now. It could take all day to get a really, really good piece of meat to taste awesome, and you're watching it all day, like hours. And I think it is more of a hobby than a way of, than a way just to cook something.
Well, in a way, I mean, I guess eating also can become a hobby. It certainly was a hobby of mine.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely was a hobby for me, but. Yeah. So, how has your So we talked about like your physical health and everything like that. And you mentioned a little bit of body dysmorphia, but how do you think you've changed mentally during this journey?
The one thing I've learnt um, is that they're very, very much connected. Your physical and your mental are very, very connected. I think if you're unfit, there's not a big chance, but there's a possibility that your mental health can be pretty unfit as well. I know I never was a bit of a naysayer a long time ago, and I never believed in mental health. I just thought it was, depression or the way people were was just a personality trait. And that was pretty naive of me. That was a long time ago until I kind of felt that little bit of a pinch and realised that stuff like depression is actually real. And it affects you without you even realising it. And there are certain telltale signs and this and that I never realised. And it wasn't until I really started to improve my physical fitness then that mental fitness, I guess, improved. The fact that just getting out, like if I feel like crap, if I'm having a pretty ordinary day, then getting out and doing 2 hours of walking or even half an hour of walking, you come back just clear. I'll throw the headphones on and podcast and just walk and not think about anything else. And it's just, to me, they're so closely related, your mental and physical health. It's just amazing how much getting healthier physically can help that.
Well, until you go through something like depression or anxiety, suffer from anxiety or what may have you, like it's hard to get a grasp on how people feel. Like
100%.
To have those mornings where it's just like you can't just get up, like you just can't face the world. Like I've had them. Like I'm not sure whether you've had those kinds of days, but it's real. And when you're younger, like, I mean,
100%.
I know when I was younger, I was much the same. Like I had the same sort of like naivety or naivety. I don't even know how to say it. I was a bit naive.
Naivety?
Is that the word? Naivety, yes. I think it is naivety. Yeah. Anyway, about that, and I just was like, well, how can you just get up? That's all you do. You just get on with your day. Then I have suffered from some anxiety. I've had a few bouts of depression here and there, and it very much like you said, for me, it was very much linked to my physical health. And you get a bit sort of blind, like when you're gaining weight, you notice your clothes aren't fitting all too well anymore. And then it's so progressive that you're like such a slow sort of process that you'll just go out, well, I just get these shorts are getting old. They're not fitting me right. Just grab another pair of shorts. Right. And before you know it, you've replaced your whole wardrobe with fat clothes. And then,
definitely.
And then it's not until you're going through your old clothing and you're just like, wait a minute, I'm fat. I'm fat now. And I think you don't want to believe it. And did anyone speak to you about your weight gain, or was this just
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Well, not in a positive way, but it was the people that I worked with was like, geez, you're stacking it on, buddy, or and I was, and probably over the space of about 4 years is how it happened. But yeah, there was a lot of people that hadn't seen for a while. They go, oh, geez, you stacked it on a bit. But nobody ever came to me and said, hey, mate, you know what? I reckon you're probably starting to get a bit unhealthy. Have a think about it. Like, I don't know if someone had said that to me, how I would have taken it because of the mindset I was in. But yeah, like I said, when I got to a point where I tried on a new work shirt and it was a 2XL, and I remembered when I went back to that job, I was a medium.
Oh, big difference.
You know what I mean? Over the space of that 5 years, I'd gone from a medium to a 2XL, and I'm not tall, as I'm sure you remember. I'm only like 170 centimeters, so I'm not a tall dude. So I was more of a brick, just as wide as I was tall. So, it was easy to see my really, really long shirt, but it was tight around the middle if I was wearing a large or an extra large. So
Wow.
it was, it was tough.
And I'm sorry to hear that you had that experience. But my question to you is, like, not knowing these people that kind of spoke to you and said, "Oh, mate, you're stacking it on." Do you believe that it was from a negative place, like, you know, taking the Mickey out of you, or do you think that that might have been their way of saying, "Hey, bro, like, what's going on?"
I don't think it was. I don't think it was purposely meant to hurt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was an aggressive kind of bullying or whatever. I think it was more of a, you know, how people just you rib each other at work because that's what you do with blokes. That's what they do, you know. And same like with the guys that I was playing golf with or socializing with, they would say the same thing. I don't think it was, and I think it would affect me, not in a way that they were intending it to. I don't think any of it was ever aggressive or purposely meaning to hurt me, but I don't think it was meant to help me either, if that makes sense.
Well, did you walk away from that thinking, oh, like, yeah, like pretty shit it? You know, like, did you?
Oh, a couple of times, yeah, absolutely. It just doesn't make you feel great, regardless of how it's meant to, how they're meaning it. It still doesn't make you feel great.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate just how blokes are. Yeah.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Like, you know, like my missus wouldn't walk up to one of her friends saying, "You're stacking it on, mate. Jesus Christ, what's going on?" Like, no, that would be friendship over.
Nah,
whereas we're just like, definitely. Oh yeah, you know, just having a few extra meat pies. You know how it is, you know, that kind of stuff. And we're just, that's how men are kind of supposed to act. And
that's right.
Yeah, it doesn't take away from the fact that it hurts. And
no.
I was lucky enough that one day I actually had a friend of mine reach out to me, and it was from a place of caring. He goes, "Ash, mate, I've known you for a few years, right? What's going on, man? Because like you're looking really unhealthy at the moment. You've gained a bit of weight. You know, I want to try to help you." And that, when I read that, like, you know, this is years ago. I was just like, yeah, shit. You know, it really made me stop, and it made me like literally stop what I was doing, and I had to sit down for like half an hour and go, okay, this is serious. Like, you know, people, like one of my best mates has come up to me and he's saying, "Mate, you got an issue here," you know, and what really helped me for that instance is that it was indirect. It wasn't like face to face, like, you know, walking up to me and say, "Mate, what's going on?" He sent it to me in a message, right?
Okay.
And as some people may go, "Oh, like that's a phone call kind of conversation," or you should really be having that conversation face to face. That I think was the best way for me at that time, because when someone talk about my weight, defenses go up, right? I'm just like, no, don't talk about it. I want to ignore it.
I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, blast doors, close them.
Yeah.
But this gave me time to read it, analyze it, and think about it without having to come up with a defensive response. You know, so like, I mean, Dale, like, I mean, and yeah, I've gotten to know you a little bit here, but like, if one of your mates sent you a message, like back when you were, you know, drinking your Kirks and JD, like saying, "Mate, you know, like, I'm a bit worried about you. You're putting on a bit of weight." Like, you read the message, had time to absorb it. Do you think that would have been a bit more of a better situation for it? Or like,
I think so. Like I said, you know, it's not, you don't really have the time to put the defense up. And I think the downside, but also the good thing about messages, is that there is no tone. You don't know where it's coming from. But if it was a message written with what sounds like care, then I think it can only be taken that way. Whereas in person, apart from being super defensive at the time, it can come across anyway. Yeah. You know, like I said, it could be the guys, you think they're just having a go at you, or, you know, having a bit of fun like normally happens. But I think like, he took his time. Like, it really took his time to write. Yeah. Like, he was like, you know, I just want you to know this comes from a place of love. You know, he just said, like, "Man, yeah, I care about you. I've known you for some time. I've just noticed that you're not, and that helps, you're not doing too well." The fact that he's let you know not only that he cares, but he's noticed, You know what I mean? Like, so I think it would have given a lot of assurance that, you know, he's in the right place. It was coming from the right place.
Yeah, and I thank him for that. You know, I thank him for, you know, sending me that message. It really did mean a lot at the time. But I'm truly sorry that, you know, I don't think that you had that sort of experience. You had, you know, the blokes that may have been reaching out to you in their own way, but maybe in the wrong kind of, you know, way of doing it, and you know, left you feeling a little bit worse for wear.
Yeah.
But did your did the weight gain come like before the marriage breakdown, or was this after?
Oh no. So it was definitely after. The fact that I had a lot of time to myself, that I never used to have, the depression that crept its way in, like I found myself on the days where I'd have to take the kids back to their mums, then I'd stop at the bottle shop on the way home, because I'd be feeling horrible having to drop them off. Not that they were going to a bad place, but it was the fact that I just wasn't having them with me anymore. That all that time on my own is what compounded, or is what enabled me to introduce my poor relationship with food and alcohol, and it was just a lot of time in my own head that I didn't really need. It didn't help. So yeah, I think that's pretty much where it all started.
So did you speak to anyone during this time? Like,
I did. I spoke to a doctor regarding, you know, how I was feeling at the time, and he said, look, that's normal how you're feeling, and you just have to figure out a way to I don't know, not let it get a hold of you so much. And that's when I kind of realized that the whole mental health issue was actually a proper thing, and it can happen to anybody. It wasn't just something that happened to other people, or it wasn't just a personality trait. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of alone time, a lot of, I don't know, I wouldn't say feeling sorry for myself, but it was just a lot of alone time where I could have done whatever I wanted to, and I did. Yeah. With no influence or no drive to do anything different.
Yeah. That's rough, and I'm happy to hear that you saw a doctor, but like, I mean, you've really pulled yourself out of that hole. You know,
tried to.
Yeah, well, mate, you've done really well. And
it's a work in progress.
Speaking of which, we got one of the little ones behind you.
Oh, she's gone.
But
she's probably hungry.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll finish up very shortly. But you mentioned that when you go out for your walks, you listen to podcasts. Can you recommend any good podcasts out there for anyone wanting some good walking stuff?
I'm a massive fan of Joe Rogan and Bert Kreischer.
Yes, Bert Kreischer. I've been listening to Two Bears, One Cave non-stop. It is such good walking.
Him and Tom Segura are probably two of the funniest dudes there are. I followed Bert on all of his socials and stuff like that. Like he's so good.
I love him.
But him and Joe Rogan especially, because a Joe Rogan podcast will go for anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours. So it's I'll listen to them, and I like to find good interviews with him. Like I'll listen to a lot of stuff that's health related. Yeah,
because he's quite into health as well, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he is. He's super fit. And he's into like a lot of the science side of things as well, which a lot of it goes above my head, but I'm interested in it anyway. Like when he talks to some doctors that have got all these different ideas of about health and stuff like that, and even when he talks to athletes about what they do and what they put themselves through, like it's just, I could listen to them for hours. Well, I do listen to them for hours. Yeah.
It's incredible
It's driving.
it's incredible like his rise to, you know, the celebrity status just through podcasting.
Yeah.
But I've been putting a lot of thought into Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer because like I listen to I watched Tom Segura's stand up and Bert Kreischer's stand up on Netflix.
Yep.
I loved it. And then when I saw that they were doing a podcast together, I was like, oh, I got to have a listen to this. So I started episode 1 of. What actually got me into their podcast was seeing Bert Kreischer's reaction to Tom Segura's dance video. If you ever want to have a good laugh, like anyone out there, if you're in a bad mood and you want to have a good laugh, Bert Kreischer, best laughs, YouTube it, because he is so infectious the way he laughs. But and what I was thinking is that these guys are so relatable, not in the fact that they're celebrities and they know a whole bunch of comedians and they do stand up and they got all the time in the world just to do that stuff. It's just their struggles with weight, like because they're always talking about like, oh mate, you're looking good. Have you been losing weight? It's like, oh, you know, I've been 45 days sober. Well, except for Sunday, I had 6 beers.
And you see Bert Kreischer, who'd be like, he'll get up and he'll have a sauna, then an ice bath, and then he'd be running on his treadmill with a glass of red in his hand.
I love that.
I don't think I could do it, but the guys are so relatable and normal.
Well, as normal
and hilarious.
As normal as someone that showers in the pool. Like so, I
know, right?
Bert Kreischer doesn't take baths or showers. He has probably about one a month, but he jumps in the pool and that's him getting clean. It's so gross.
Pool showers.
So gross. But okay. So Joe Rogan and Bert Kreischer. Any others at all?
Not really. Like I'll obviously I'll do a lot of replay stuff. A lot of like the man talks. I'll go through a lot of them, the older ones of them. But yeah, I think I've done a few nights where I've listened to the old Fat Chats a couple of times.
Mate, this isn't me trying to say talk about my channel here. This is, trust me, this isn't that.
That's what I listen to. Like that's what helps. That's what I listen to. You know what I mean? I've listened to hours and hours of Joe Rogan's, but I like to listen to people that I know for starters, and that I think that a group of us have got a good relationship. Then I like to be able to support, and I think every time you listen to something as well, you pick up stuff that you didn't pick up earlier, especially when I'm walking, because I don't know if there could be cars on fire on the side of the road, but I wouldn't realise because I'm too into my own headphones that I wouldn't realise.
I think the difference is that when you're looking at a screen, you're looking at it, and this is the thing about podcasts, when you're in the car and that kind of stuff, you can switch your brain off, go into autopilot, or when you're walking, you switch your brain off, but you're just purely listening. So you only got the auditory 100%. Going into you, and you're listening to little things that you wouldn't hear before if you're watching a screen, because you'll be on Facebook, you'll be scrolling through Facebook, and you have this noise in the background. But when you solely focus on what you're listening to, it's such a different experience. So like I was getting into
the thing I like about the podcast the most is it's just sound. Like you don't have any of the visual, and you can't pick up an ad and then all of a sudden scroll through to something else, and next minute you're just in some other rabbit hole. The podcast you can just click on and go. It's my jam.
If only you had more time in the day to listen to them all. But that's the way I see it. Okay, well look, just one final thing. Would you do anything differently in your weight loss journey, and also any advice out there for people looking to get started?
I don't know if I would do anything different. I would probably it's not so much different, but if I had known what I know now, I would have done it earlier. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have waited, or I would have hoped that switch would have flicked earlier, and kind of got it under control a bit earlier. That's what I would hope out of that. I don't think I would have done it differently. I think the way I did it was okay. It was comfortable. It was the way that I felt that I needed to do it, and it worked. Any advice? There's the standard, just do it, don't just start now. But I think the one piece of advice, apart from just smash water, which I still struggle with now, is get yourself a device. out of all the aids and the training and the counters and the stuff that I used, the best thing that I ever bought was a counter, like a step counter. I started off with just a crappy little Fitbit. Now I'm running Garmin. Shout out to Garmin.
What kind of Garmin is that?
Hey?
What kind of Garmin is it?
That one is
Vivo Active.
No, yeah, it's a Vivo 4, I think it is. And I do everything on it. Like I can do all my splits for triathlon. It does my pace for running, it does everything. As just the step counter part of that is the best. Like you could get home from work and you'll sit down and like, I've only got 5,000 steps. I'm up and out. Like the fact that small little thing that sits on your wrist to tell you how lazy you've been or how active you've been that day helps. Yeah. And that's probably the best tool that I bought.
100%. 100%.
The whole time that helps. That's like that proper helps. Like at the start I was doing some of the calorie counting stuff, but out of all the aids and the counters and all that kind of stuff, it's the step counter that helped.
Yeah. And they come in.
And I'm a bit of a numbers man. Like I'm not a finance numbers man like you, but I'm a bit of a, when it comes to running, cycling, when it comes to pace numbers, like minutes per kilometre, average speed over certain distance and stuff like that. I'm into that and improving that. And my Garmin with like say Strava and stuff like that is game over for me. It's the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I know you've been very active on Strava and all that kind of stuff, but I 100% agree with you. When you look down at your watch and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you've only got 2,000 steps. There's nothing more like more motivating than that. It's like, I've got to get my 100%. Fat ass up and get outside, go for a walk.
100%. It's like you look at your watch and it says, and you actually think, I can't believe I've been that lazy today.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or, geez, I've done well today. Like it's good and bad. But yeah, that's the piece of advice that I would is get yourself a tool that will help.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of communities and apps that they have to go with it to remind you, oh shit, I'm a bit behind today. I got Samsung Gear, and this links to Samsung Health, and it keeps track of my steps, and it says, hey, you've been active today, great job. But the only thing I hate is that when I go shopping, like when we're out in Westfield or whatever, you get like 4,000 steps and it won't count them because I'm holding the trolley.
It doesn't count your steps with your hands on the trolley.
It just drives me up the wall. I'm like, I got viewers that see these things. I need to go out for another walk. Anyway,
you know what? I take my hat off to you because I don't know. I think your accountability, because you've got your channel, is I don't know how you've done it, because I know I sit there and I go, I better get those steps in, but I've only got to think about me. And I know you're doing it for you, but I think to think that if you go, geez, I better get out because everybody else will see it.
About that, this coming Wednesday, triple digits, 100%. Hasn't been good. Something's going to change. I'm getting off my Muscle Chef meals this week. I'm freezing what I've got left, and I'm going to start cooking my own food. And
meals, I am getting into, and at a pure advice from you, and my family love them, is the pizziola. Oh my God.
How good are they?
It's so good.
Oh, mate. So when did you first try it? How long ago was it?
I tried one a while ago, and it was pretty basic, but now I've got the kids onto them. And it's a bit like some ham and pineapple, and the kids are pretty basic. Like my son would just have it with cheese and ham on it if he could have it every day. Yeah. But it's just other stuff on like jalapenos, pickled jalapenos, like olives, stuff like that. Like it can just... it's endless.
I'll put a link in the description. Adam's Pizziola is basically just like a pizza, but made with chicken breasts as the base, and it just like it's a game changer. Game changer. So good.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
And just one quick one. Favorite Manshake flavor?
Vanilla.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the cake, but vanilla is so versatile, and I'm a bit of a vanilla guy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Vanilla, you can do stuff to it. Like, I'm a big fan of adding banana.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the no sugar or sugar-free maple syrup, just a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And the PB2, the peanut butter stuff, or Mavers even. I'm not a big mixer all the time, but yeah, vanilla's just a go-to. I'm pretty simple.
That's good. That's good, man. Thanks for the update. And any flavors you hate? Caramel. Do you hate caramel?
Oh, you know what? I'm not a massive fan of caramel. I haven't tried the hazelnut. I just feel like there was enough chocolate things already on the market. There's chocolate, there's choc mint. Like, I don't think I needed to try another chocolate. I'm not a massive fan of chocolate.
Are you one of those guys waiting for a beef flavored or?
No, absolutely not. If you want soup, go and buy soup. Don't ask the handshake for it. It's go and buy a packet of it somewhere. Don't ask the handshake.
Dear Manshake, I am a little disturbed at your lack of stews. Can you please?
Oh.
Anyway,
You're in the wrong aisle.
But Dale, look, thank you so much for being on Fat Chat.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Your support on my channel has been so appreciated over this entire
gold badge, mate.
He's got the gold badge. He's a TFG Army member. But if you want to become a member and get some,
I think I'm an OG.
You're
member.
OG. You're one of the first names that comes up on the list. I think you're in the top 3. So you've been a member ever since I got the membership package, and it's now a year and 1 month.
That's one thing that it's also has been different about this weight loss journey, if you call it that, is I never thought that losing weight would involve YouTube subscriptions, Twitch subscriptions, watching guys who now I call friends, like you guys, Lloyd, Jared, and all that, watching them on all these social media. I never thought that would be involved, but I'm glad it does. You know what I mean? And it's awesome.
I'm really excited for when we get out of lockdown and we can have a proper catch up again.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, another Manshaker's walk, but outside of that as well, I think it'll be it's long overdue. So it's been an odd experience doing this journey. Like, I started 2 months before COVID, and I haven't had the opportunity to really meet everyone that wants me.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll call it quits here. Thank you so much for tuning into Fat Chat. If you want to be on the episode of Fat Chat, hit me up an email down below. Dale, thank you so much for being with me today. It has been a fantastic time. And if you have any questions, put them down below for us. And I love every single one of you. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it.
See you guys.